Hello and welcome to TVC News at noon. President Bola Tinubu is in Lagos for the inauguration of the first phase of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Red Line from Agbodo to Oyingbo. The inauguration of the Red Line train will signal the takeoff of another major game changer in the state's transportation infrastructure. TVC News senior correspondent Adejoda Salam Adeniyi gives us more updates.
This 37-kilometer Red Line rail starts from Agbodo and terminates at Marina. But this first phase is a 27-kilometer rail from Agbodo to Oyingbo. And it has 8 stations, namely Agbodo, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, and Oyingbo. Now, what this means is for huge commuters, that is the essence of this project. The Red Line Rail is expected to convey 500,000 passengers daily. And when the project is fully done, it will move 1 million passengers daily. This will complement the Blue Line, that is to carry 500,000 passengers daily, making it 1.5 million passengers to commute on a daily basis via the Lagos Rail Mass Transit daily. And so this will go a long way in reducing traffic, congestion and emission, as well as facilitate easy movement for commuters and goods in a mega city of Lagos.
Thank you, Adedoja, for the updates there. After Mr. President's engagement in Lagos, he will proceed on his official visit to the state of Qatar. In a statement by presidential spokesperson Najurun Galali, the visit is to further strengthen cooperation between the two nations in several areas, including security, cultural exchange, and economic development. Let's turn now to the National Assembly, where the Senate has invited Minister of FCT and Commissioner of Police for the FCT to give detailed security briefings on the current security situation in the federal capital. The Senate's resolution follows a motion by the lawmaker representing Delta North Senatorial District Ned Nwoko on the Galadima kidnap incident that led to the death of one of his senior legislative aide. National Assembly correspondent Jesu Adeoye has more.
Body language and from what you said.
Senator Ned Nwoko briefs his colleagues on the tragic abduction of 19 persons, including his senior legislative aide, who was later killed by his abductors. The lawmaker recalls with sadness that distressing news has become one tragic loss to many, as he calls for more drastic measures to beef up security within the FCT.
The CP personally led the culprits who went to show them where they left the bodies. But I don't know about what happened with the others, but I'm sure that this Senate should be able to, through the recommendations, be able to find out what happened and take appropriate steps.
The Senate sympathized with the lawmaker over the death of his senior aide and adopted all resolutions made in the motion. The Senate also resolved to invite the Minister of the FCT and the Commissioner of the FCT Police Command for a closed session to obtain detailed report of efforts being made to tackle rising insecurity within the FCT.
They will invite the FCT Minister and the Commissioner of Police FCT to meet with the Senate in closed session to discuss the security of the FCT.
The Senate observed a minute of silence in honor of victims of bandit attacks and insecurity.
May the souls of the Galadima kidnapped victims rest in perfect peace.
Jesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Still talking security, former Inspector General of Police Mohammed Abubakar has advised the federal government to increase the funding of the police and other security agencies. And this, he believes, will enhance the performance and efforts toward tackling the security challenges. Theophilus Tarifai reports.
The resurgence of activities of armed bandits, kidnappers in communities and highways and other heinous crime across the country has been a huge worry for many. Experts say Nigeria has all it takes to tackle insecurity, which has lingered for too long. In an interview with the former Inspector General of Police Mohammed Dahiru Abubakar, he says increased funding for the police and other security agencies will go a long way in reducing crime. He adds that intelligence gathering, training and retraining of security personnel to sharpen their competencies and improve their capabilities is also a key to restoring peace.
Security is a serious business, and security is never cheap anywhere in the world. Check. They need to take care of the police and the state security service very seriously, in terms of equipping, in terms of welfare. These are agencies of government that will go to bring information and intelligence and processes, and because they are part and parcel of the civil society. The military has an important role to play. They too need to be supported and assisted. So we need to go back to the rudiment, and officers and men of all the security agencies need very serious training. We need retraining, restructuring, and refunding of these services. Our recruitment policy has to change. We have to look for the right people, not people who want to come into the service because they are looking for a job.
The 16th Indigenous Inspector General of Police believes traditional institutions and other citizens have a role to play in the quest to tackling the myriad of security challenges currently plaguing the country.
And the community to have a responsibility to work in collaboration with the security agencies to provide the needed information that will assist them to fight the crime. Please go to the next police station proper close to here and tell them there is robbery 5 kilometers away. 3 things may happen. 1, if you are lucky, they have a vehicle in that police station. If you are unlucky, the vehicle may not have foil. If you are unlucky, the number of personnel there are too few to be able to go and fight the armed robbers.
The call to the federal government to increase funding for security agencies, intelligence gathering, and information sharing to tackle insecurity is coming at a time communities and highways, especially in northern Nigeria, have continued to be a hotbed of banditry and kidnappers, which has forced many to abandon their ancestral homes for the fear of the unknown. Safely Darufai, TVC News Kusau.
Away from security, the federal government has inaugurated a new 60 megavolt amperes and a 132-33 kilovolt power transformer at the Ukene Transmission Substation. Minister of Power Bayo Adelabu says this will enable strategic expansion, infrastructure upgrades, and commitment to efficiency in the power sector. Correspondent Habib Alawa reports.
As Nigeria continues to navigate its way through the complexities of revamping its power sector, the recent development offers a beacon of hope. The commitment to increasing power production capacity, modernizing infrastructure, and ensuring billing transparency presents a blueprint for other regions facing similar challenges. While the journey is far from over, the steps taken today lay a solid foundation for a brighter, more electrified future for Nigerians. Speaking at the Ukene substation, Minister of Power Bayo Adelabu highlighted the pivotal role these projects play in the revitalization of the power sector.
If our people cannot stand up, switch on the light and see lights, whatever effort we are making to them is fruitless, as if we are not doing anything, as if we are winking in the dark. So you could see that federal government is making efforts to make sure that we increase our generation capacity, and have reeled out a number of efforts that we're making. We have improved our hydropower capacity with 700 megawatts from Zungeru, under 40 megawatts from Kashimbila, and we are reviving all the abandoned 26 small hydro plants to improve generation.
With a renewed focus on addressing the challenges within the power sector, stakeholders remain optimistic about the transformative impact these initiatives will have on Nigeria's socio-economic fabric.
We're keeping to cost, we're keeping to time, and we're keeping to the targets that are set for us by Mr. President himself, and ensuring that we're able to meet them.
We have increased the transformation capacity of this substation to about 165 MVA. Nevertheless, the whole total contribution of the first phase of the NG Power Co is in excess of 270 MVA from all the substations to the commission. This is marvelous.
But from here, if you look at the other side, we change it to 800 mm. So that 800 mm will allow us to wheel out successfully. Yeah. So if the discos are ready to pick, we don't have, they can go ahead, there is no problem.
The commissioning of these projects not only signifies progress in infrastructure development, but also heralds a new era of opportunity for Nigeria, positioning the nation on a trajectory towards sustainable energy growth. Habida Lawal, TVC News.
Well, let's now bring you John the live broadcast for the first phase, the inauguration of the first phase of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Red Line from Agbodo to Oyingbo. Thanks for staying with us on TVC News at noon. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives says it has engaged the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria on the revised guidelines for the verification of certificates for application to foreign nursing boards. This was made known at the 2024 induction for State Administrative Council members of the association in Abuja.
7th of February, the contents of a circular sent out by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria largely generated controversy in the health subsector. It had provided guidelines needed for the verification of certificates by applicants to foreign nursing boards and councils. Nurses took to the streets in major cities to protest what they felt included 8 points with 4 sensitive and controversial requirements. Today, tempers have calmed down after the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives met with the NMCN to iron out these issues with some cheering results.
The Council agreed to review all the issues raised by the Association to include 1. The issue of letter of good standing to be handled by the head of the nursing services of respective facilities. The issue of verification for 6 months was totally stepped down. All the agreed reviewed guidelines will be uploaded on the council portal from first week of March 2024.
Despite calming nerves, the group still has a long list of demands to the government. Some of these issues include the establishment of a full Department of Nursing at the Ministry of Health.
We believe that the creation of the department will help for expanded role of the nurses and the profession. Implementation of the Abuja Declaration of 2020, provision of replacement of dilapidated equipment to meet the healthcare needs of patients through quality care delivery.
This present administration has, in its wisdom, tried to develop a more seamless means of obtaining waiver for employment, so that as people are exiting, they are quickly replaced without all those bottlenecks that we used to have in the past, because we want to reduce the gap of nurse-patient ratio.
Estimates in 2020 show that there are more than 180,000 registered nurses and 126,000 midwives in Nigeria. This is for a country with an over 200 million population. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
In Yobe State, the state government has deployed health workers to Potiskum, Fika and Fun towns, where 20 secondary school students died as a result of the outbreak of meningitis. TVC News correspondent Michael Oshuma visited some of the affected schools in Potiskum.
The outbreak of meningitis in Potiskum, Fika and Fune local government areas has left 20 persons dead, while more than 100 students are receiving medical treatment. They have been quarantined within the school premises. The emergency of the situation made the Ministry of Education to relocate to the affected schools. TVC News crew visited some of the schools in Potiskum, where the infected students are being attended to by medical workers.
Roughly about 214 students came into the facility, of which have been seen. And as I'm talking to you, we only have about 8 students left in the facility.
The state government has swung into action to avert more deaths and spread of the disease.
Upon receiving the information of this outbreak, the ministry, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, we had a meeting with SSG in order to map strategies on how best to tackle this, the spread of this menace.
The Minister of Education was deployed to this very school to see that this problem is over with all form of effort, either advisably or medically and otherwise.
This school also had its fair share of the outbreak, as about 7 students were confirmed to have lost their lives to the disease.
This isolation center is open here purposely to curb the menace of this disease. And we admitted about 112 students here. We have the health personnel from the hospital and the primary health care units. Currently, we have 43 on the ground and 69 were discharged.
Some people who have declined to speak on camera attributed the unfortunate incident to lack of proper hygiene, congestion of students in a confined dormitories, and consumption of contaminated food, among others. Potiskum residents appeal to the state government to investigate the cause thoroughly and sanction those responsible for the unfortunate incidents. Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Potiskum.
To other stories now, Governor of Borno State, Babangida Zulum, has commenced another phase of food distribution to 100,000 heads of household from MMC and Jere local council area of the state.
It's another phase of palliative distribution by Governor Babangida Zulum. This time around, residents of Jere and MMC are beneficiaries. 100,000 bags of rice, 100,000 bags of maize, and 100,000 bags of millet is set to be distributed. Young and old, all waited patiently for their turn to get their share. Governor Babangida Zulum said this gesture will continue until the end of his tenure.
This community have not been benefiting from our food distribution exercise immensely compared to other communities in Borno State. And that is why we are here. As long as I am the governor of Borno State, I will continue to provide the palliatives because it is necessary. But I want to advise the general public that the distribution of palliatives to the people is not sustainable. The quantum of money needed to provide this assistance is huge, and Borno State government cannot shoulder the responsibility of doing so.
He appreciates the support of President Tinubu for making this program a success.
What we are doing is not partisan. What we are doing is not based on religion or based on ethnicity. We advise the community to select the most vulnerable in the population.
We have no option than to key in to the developmental programs of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, through his Renewed Hope agenda. My constituents are happy, and I want to use this medium to thank His Excellency, the Governor, for this wonderful initiative.
For 7 hours, the governor supervised the distribution exercise to ensure there were no sharp practices. This gesture is part of Governor Babangida Zulum's palliative program towards cushioning the effects of the economic hardship on citizens of Borno. Beneficiaries say this will go a long way in alleviating their sufferings. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, says the economic transformation and development of the nation calls for collaborative efforts of government and the people. She was speaking at the flag-off of the Renewed Hope Initiative, a women agricultural support program held in the Southeast Zone. Senator Tinubu assured of the continuous commitment to supporting women farmers across the nation. She explained that each beneficiary will get 500,000 naira in addition to receiving agricultural inputs.
I want to implore our women farmers receiving support today to seize this opportunity to expand the agricultural scope, contribute to local and national food production, and serve as role models for others aspiring to enter the agricultural sector. I'm confident that this initiative will not only transform the lives of individual beneficiaries, but also contribute to the overall economic development of the Southeast Zone. I urge all stakeholders, including government officials, community leaders, and non-governmental organizations, to work hand in hand to ensure the smooth implementation of this program. Together, we can build a resilient and prosperous agricultural sector that empowers women, enhancing food security across Nigeria.
The struggle for food security has to be through a collective effort. That we are here today to empower our rural farmers to be able to produce food. Nigerians have been able to see that we must be able to farm and produce what we eat and eat what we produce. So for this gesture that you have extended to Southeast, I want to thank you. I want to thank you also for using the Southeast region as the starting point for this program.
Outside Nigeria now, at least 77 Palestinians waiting for food aid have been killed and 250 wounded after being shot at by Israeli forces in Gaza. About 30 persons have also been killed in separate attacks in the Nuseirat, Bureij, and Khan Yunis camps in Gaza. This raises the death toll to more than 30,000 amidst continuous calls for a ceasefire. The Gaza government's media office has blamed the international community, specifically the Biden administration, for allowing the mass killing of Palestinian civilians. And that's TVC News this hour. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website. It's tvcnews.tv. Remember to follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we're live at TVC News Nigeria. We're back at 1 p.m. with a more comprehensive bulletin. Stay with us.